Viewers, I welcome all of you. I thank God for this wonderful moment. Today, through this brief lecture, I wish to explain how our national song, Vande Mataram, undermines the constitutionally accepted rights of Naga people preserved under Article 371A. Nagaland was the first state to formally oppose the directives of Ministry of Home Affairs over mandatory singing of national songs, citing anti-secular character of the song that contains very strong Hindu religious texts in later part of the song. Other states like Meghalaya, Mizoram, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, and so on also joined in protests against the song, but the state of Nagaland went one step ahead as it has now ordered a select committee to review the national song. Firstly, let's be reminded that the constitution starts with the word "we the people of India." Here the word "we" is highly inclusive, meaning that we stands for all the citizens regardless of majority or minority. We stands for Hindus, Muslims, Sikh, Christian, Parsi, Jain, Buddhist, so on and so forth. So let's remember this is the first definition of Indian secularism. Now to start with, the recent protocol on Vande Mataram is not an act of parliament, it's not an ordinance, or it's not also a law, but it is a directives of Ministry of Home Affairs, which means that it has lesser binding force in its application. Mandatory or forceful singing of national song is definitely a source of communalism in India. Now, through a series of experience, we're able to gather the information that each occasion when Vande Mataram is forced to sing, certain section of Indian society gets alienated from the national unification process. National song is supposed to strengthen unity, not divide the population. The highest court of India, Supreme Court, in Bijoy Emmanuel Judgment 1986, has remarked that compelling individuals to sing a song, even though it's a national anthem, violates freedom of speech in religion, establishing very clearly that respect does not require forced participation. The first two stanzas were adopted twice. First, 1937 by Indian National Congress, later on by Constituent Assembly on 24th January 1950 as National Song of India. 2026 guidelines, which constitute very strict and comprehensive protocol for citizens' performance, is coming for the first time in the history of Indian National Song. Now, what is this standardized protocol? First of all, it wasn't mandatory to sing national song before, but by this 2026 guidelines, it made national song mandatory to sing in all the government officials, events, formal state functions, and even school assembly session. India has around 10 lakhs, 13,000 government school, and we can imagine millions of students will be singing this very religious oriented song in the school assemblies. Next is the priority which is given to Vande Mataram over Jana Gana Mana. Now Vande Mataram is going to be singing first, then Jana Gana Mana. The duration is previously it was 2 stanzas, now they have introduced 6 stanzas, meaning that it will be sung for 3 minutes and 10 seconds. All the attendees has to stand in attention when the song is sung. And that means that the standardized protocol has given national song equal honor with national anthem. Nagas have dual protection against any anti-secular policy of Indian government. First, as a citizen of India, through a lot of articles in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution Fundamental Rights, Article 14, 15, 25, 28. I have made a video on all this. Polity lecture 6, 7, and 8. Please check it out because I have explained religious rights of the Indian citizens in all of those videos. The second is as a distinct Naga tribe via Article 371A. I've taken only 2 articles to support my lecture today. Article 25 and 19 of the Indian Constitution. Article 25 has given a very absolute freedom of conscience to all the citizens. This freedom of conscience also includes right to refrain from acts that are conflicting with your religious belief. So if you think that certain actions are conflicting with your religious belief and sentiments, you have right to refrain those actions. Second is Article 19(1), Subclause A has also protects freedom of expression. Freedom of expression doesn't only mean a sharing of views and opinions of an individual, but it also includes right to not speak any religious text or right to not even sing national song. Minorities doesn't even feel safe under Constitution of India because they feel risky. Refusing to sing national song is been misinterpreted by majority religion as disloyal to India or anti-national sentiments. Now this is a danger of turning your and my religious faith into suspicious. I wish to quote Jamiat Ulama Hind in Deoband, Uttar Pradesh. The organization have said, "We love our country and have proved this several times, but Vande Mataram violates our faith in monotheism, that is the foundation of our faith. We can love and serve our country, but cannot elevate to the status of Allah, the only one worshipped by Muslims." So this is a pain shared by all the religious minorities in India. Article 371A has carved out 4 big areas where Nagas can have freedom to decide on its own. Of the 4 areas, ironically, religious freedom is mentioned in the very first place. It says no act of parliament. Let's be very clear that there's no act greater than the act of parliament. Ministry of Home Affairs directives comes under the regulation of parliament. The legally recognized truth is that no act of parliament or directives of Ministry of Home Affairs, however urgent and significant it may be, as long as that act or directives is conflicting with religious practice of Nagas, shall not apply in the first instance. So it is now entirely up to the 60 MLAs of Nagaland to decide on the matter, because in the concluding word it is mentioned, unless the State Assembly of Nagaland by a resolution so decides. So the Nagaland 60 MLAs, therefore exercising this power, the issue of national song is now reviewed by a select committee. So after the review, by a resolution or by declaration, the MLAs of Nagaland will decide on the issue of national song. Now, for instance, exercising Article 371A, the 60 MLAs of Nagaland can have 2 options. First, they can totally reject the national song if that is sung in 6 stanzas. All the 6 stanzas were meant to sing. In the first place, they have the right to reject. Second, they can modify by partially accepting, that is 2 stanzas can also be modified. See, the compromise happened in 1937 until 28th February 2026. It was only 2 stanzas that were sung in the national song. And this was a suggestion coming from the first Nobel Prize winner of India, Rabindranath Tagore. He advised that to focus only the beauty of motherland, which was already included in the first 2 stanzas. Nothing is wrong in singing the first 2 stanzas, because it's about the beauty of India. It talks about sovereignty, it talks about national unification. But if not to include the last 4 stanzas, which has a lot of anti-secular and Hindu rhetoric, lines and lyrics are quite religious. Now, why it was mentioned, why it was recommended to sing only the 2 stanzas was to include all the communities of India. India is not just for Hindus, but includes of Muslims and Christians and all other minorities. It is a place for majority as well as minorities, where we're all called citizens of India, and to take pride for being a citizen of India. So that is, even the Nagaland MLAs can also modify accepting partial national song and eliminating those portions which can undermine the religious Christian ethics of Nagaland. So that changes. The MLAs can declare through a resolution or through a declaration, whichever is appropriate. Now, protection of Naga religious interests or rights comes first, then India's religious interests, which was unanimously agreed on 1st December 1963 when the state of Nagaland was created. So during the statehood, it was all given to the Nagas to have absolute power to decide on religious matters, and that no policy of central government will apply if the religious sentiments of Nagas were to undermine. So all of a sudden, that bestowed rights the central government cannot take away. So to adhere to directives of Ministry of Home Affairs, writers attempt to glorify Hinduism is against Christians' faith and it undermines concept of Christians' monotheism. With approximately 87% of Christian population, Christianity is very firmly established in the state of Nagaland since December 22, 1872, when for the first time American missionaries landed on the territory of Nagaland. Now, it is a reminder that Nagaland has made two very solemn declarations in front of God. That is on March 27, 1956, Nagaland for Christ slogan was given, and next was on 15th October 1977, the state made a covenant to send 10,000 missionaries to the outside world. So just imagine a state that solely dedicates its existence to Christ cannot sing Vande Mataram, which glorifies Hinduism, upholding Durga, Lakshmi in Saraswati in place of Jesus. So this is nothing but unacceptable to Christians' faith and ethics, and it amounts to blasphemy also in certain cases. It is very sad that quite in a number of occasions, the attempt to override Article 371A and to deliberately undermine Christians' value in ethics by the RSS BJP feudal mindset policy was kind of defended by Nagaland BJP. First was in August 2018, the issue of Adal Bihari Vajpayee ash immersion, where the Nagaland BJP said Adalji is a national icon and should not be associated with any religion. So unmindful of what is happening in the state, the opposition and the undermining of this religious value, Nagaland BJP defended this anti-secular policy of the national government, and for this, Nagaland Pradesh Congress Committee have said it was nothing but for political gain. So that was one reason. And second, the recent 4th March 2026 compulsory singing of all the 6 stanzas by all the in all the government official occasions. Our Honorable Minister Temchan Imna Along said Vande Mataram should be respected as a national sentiment. So national sentiment is a culmination of both majority and minority sentiments put together. So national sentiments cannot be achieved at the cost of minority sentiments. So this is what is very, very important in context of Nagas also. Now to finally wind up my brief presentation today, let's strike a comparison between Jana Gana Mana and Vande Mataram, national anthem and national song. National anthem is just 52 seconds and national song is 190 seconds, that is 3 minutes and approximately 16 seconds. It is a secular song. The national anthem is secular. There's absolutely no criticism from any minorities of India because it is totally based on secular tune. So, but Vande Mataram, if sung in all the 6 stanzas, it is very much anti-secular song. So, mandatory to sing in all the functions, government and all the major functions of India. It wasn't made mandatory until 28 January 2026. And it reflects unity in sovereignty. But Vande Mataram is a patriotic song, and in the later part of the song, it has a lot of strong religious lyrics. And Article 51A, honoring national anthem, is fundamental duty of every citizen. Remember, this is very important. But that sort of duty has not been extended to national song whatsoever. And in 1971, Prevention of Insult to National Honor Act was passed, which penalizes disrespect to national flag and national anthem only. So it doesn't cover that benefit, that penalty doesn't cover national song. So these are some very important things that we all need to know and we all need to update. And with that, I come to end of my today's brief lecture. Thank you so much for listening, and we will look ahead to have another round of Polity very soon. Thank you so much.